Well, good afternoon. I am Martha, cooking live at the Beaver's Den, and I just got my chicken wings. I've been soaking them in ice water for about an hour and a half, and I have my oven on 350, and I have nothing on them except olive oil and just a little bit of pepper. So what I am making now, while that is cooking kind of low and slow, that's the way I do for about an hour, I am going to prepare the barbecue sauce. And as I go, if you want to write down this recipe, it's for the last 3 or 4 years, it has really been my go-to. So I kind of know it by heart, and I do like a smidgen of this and a handful of this, so I really don't know how else to tell you. So if you cook it all, I know good and well you'll catch it on really fast. I know you will. It's as simple can be. But what I've done, I've got it on low, and then I will just bring it to a boil and then let it just cook down for maybe 20-30 minutes. Then when I'm going in the process while it's cooking down, I am just going to show you and film this what I'm putting in my sauce. So in about 20-30 minutes, I will turn my wings over, and then I'll cook them another 30 minutes, which will be a total of an hour. That's when I will put the pepper on the other side. But that's really the only seasoning that I will put, and I hardly put any salt whatsoever, because there's a lot of the ingredients that already has salt in it. So you put too much, you can't take it out. So it's just good to know that you're in control of what goes in, and if you have problem with high blood pressure, cut back on some of the ingredients. If you have diabetes, cut back on some of the things that I put in here. But this is just my go-to, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'm going to put you down, and I'm starting off with 3/4 cup of the vinegar. It's white vinegar. So I'm hoping, we're having storms here off and on. So I'm going to put you down right here. And like I said, I did measure out 3/4 cup of white vinegar. Some people use apple cider vinegar. I have used both, but this is my go-to, and I'm just used to going to that. And I do have fresh garlic, but I am not using it. So I am using minced garlic, which is this. It's in a jar. It's just minced garlic, and I'm going to get a little spoon. And if you don't like garlic, if you don't like the taste of garlic, like I said, leave it out. It's going to become your go-to. And I'm just going to use maybe a half of a teaspoon. Going to put that in there. And I've already got the vinegar in here. That is 3/4 cup. I'm putting everything over here out of the way. And this is my garbage bowl. A lot of people, they mince onions. Well, I don't. I'm just going to put a little bit of pepper, but I don't mince my onions or grate the onions. I use, where is it? There it is. I use minced onions. And so that's what I'm going to do, is use a handful. Now that's about a palmful. If you can see that. Can you see that? Maybe just a little bit more. Wait, you have to flavor your food. You really do. And I'm going to throw that in there. I put that and that. Okay, here is the brown sugar. And I'm going to put, have you ever seen one of these? This is made out of clay. And it's really the best thing I have ever found out that I can use, because I don't use that much brown sugar. But if you'll find a little disc, a clay disc, it draws out any, you know how hard sometimes your brown sugar gets? Well, this right here, I've had for about maybe 6 months, and it is just as fluffy as it can be. And I am going to use third cup. There's one. And then I just leave this one in here. That's why I say I always use about this third cup for anything and everything. But I'm going to use 2 of these. And you're going to think it may be too sweet, but it's not, because I've got a lot more things that is going to take care of it. I've got this on low and letting this just dissolve real good and slow. And we still have a ways to go. I'm going to use a half a stick of butter. Half a stick of butter. You know how butter makes everything better. Okay. And this is my trusty garbage bowl. I always have my garbage bowl handy. And I'm just going to slice it and put it in here for it to melt. And see, when I get ready to turn those wings, and by the time this reduces, this will be perfect to just brush on those wings. And then you put it in there for another maybe 40 minutes, 30. Everybody's oven varies, so that's just entirely up to you. Okay, I'm going to use 1/4 of a cup of honey right here. This is the honey. I use this, and I am just gonna just dip this in just a little bit, because I'm gonna put some olive oil in here. It flavors it real good, but if you'll just use a little bit of Pam or something to spray it with. But I am going to, it comes out a lot easier, in other words. Okay. It comes out to be about maybe 2 tablespoons of honey. And this is a 1/4, this measuring cup. See how easy it comes out now? Because you put a little bit of Pam or oil in here. It's perfect. All right. And now it's getting where it's going to start dissolving very good. Get my whisk a little bit. Okay. There we go. We're starting to melt now. But I do hope you'll try it. And like I said, make it your own. You don't have to do it just like me. You can leave out some of these things. Okay. I'm going to use maybe just a palmful like that of garlic powder, not salt. Garlic powder. I'm just going to throw that in there. Okay, and this is celery seed. I'll just put maybe about 1/4 of a teaspoon of celery seed. Gonna go in there. About a palmful of smoked paprika. Maybe a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Wow, we're getting a lot of thunder. I hope we don't lose the stove or anything going off. Now I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil in here. It just gives it the best flavor. Okay, since we're doing chicken, I'm going to put maybe just a 1/2 teaspoon of poultry seasoning. About like that. Throw that in there. And I'm going to put just about a tablespoon of mustard. Or you can use Dijon mustard. That's your call. And I've got 2 or 3 shakes of Worcestershire sauce. And then a little bit of ketchup, about a tablespoon of ketchup. And then I'm going to put some barbecue sauce. Put a little bit of, about a 1/4 cup. And that, I love Sweet Baby Ray's. I don't know about y'all, but I put a little bit of Sweet Baby Ray's. Okay. It's going to look like you, oh goodness gracious, you're talking about putting so much stuff in here. But if you let this cook, it will cook down. It looks a little bit soupy right now, but I'm telling you, it'll be just right by the time the wings get good and cooked on both sides. And that way you can just use a little brush, and if nobody likes any heat in your family, I'm just going to put maybe a handful, not a handful, but about a 1/2 handful of hot pepper flakes, crushed hot pepper flakes. And then just about maybe 1/8 of a spoonful of mustard seed. And 1 teaspoon of sugar. Just white sugar. Leave it out. If you don't want it, just leave it out. Not even a whole teaspoon. About like that. Now remember, I'm not adding any salt whatsoever, because a lot of this stuff already has a lot of salt. Like the butter, I use salted butter. Just about everything. Now I'm going to use this sriracha sauce, and I'm only going to use a teaspoon, which I will go back and put a little bit more on mine. But, you know, other people are eating this, so. But it looks like a lot of different stuff. But I'm telling you, by the time you get this fixed, it cooks down, it's going to be perfect. See how easy it's getting to, it's not real liquidified, but oh my goodness. Now see, I can tell already It does not need one more thing. And I'm sure you're saying, well, good grief, you added half of the kitchen anyway. But seriously, that is delicious. And all I will do is just take one of these brushes. When it cooks down, I'll just cover this up. And I'll put my timer on, check it in about 20 minutes, give it a little bit more stir. And I've got my wings in about, let's see, about 12 more minutes, and it'll be in there 30 minutes. I'll turn them over, put a little bit more pepper on one side, and then in about 30 minutes, then this will be ready to brush on those wings. And then you pop them back in there for about 40 more minutes, maybe 30, 35, 40. You just check them and you'll know. Your nose will know. That's what I tell everybody, just like when I cook cornbread. Your nose will know. A cake, your nose will know. So I hope you, maybe if you didn't write it down, you can play it back. But this is Martha cooking live at the Beaver's Den. That's my husband. Oh, and he is saying hey to everybody on YouTube. And I hope you really enjoyed this recipe. And please try it. And like I said, make it your own. And so please hit that share button. Martha cooking live at the Beaver's Den. Hit that share button and subscribe if you really, really like it. And I really appreciate it. Lord bless you and keep you. And I will see you later.